The Chimp Paradox, by Drive. Steve Peters. Introduction. Have you ever found yourself in the middle of an argument, saying things you don't mean? Your voice gets louder, your heart races, and this other person seems to take over. And later, when the dust settles, you're left wondering, why did I say that? That's not me. Or maybe you've stood in front of the refrigerator, knowing you want to eat healthy, but your hand reaches for the cake anyway. It's like two different people are fighting for control inside your own mind. One person sets the goals, and another one sabotages them. For centuries, we've called this a lack of willpower. We've told ourselves we're just not disciplined enough. But what if I told you that it's not your fault? What if I told you that inside your head, there are literally two separate beings, with two different brains, agendas, and personalities, constantly battling for control? And what if I told you that one of them is an irrational, impulsive, emotional creature, a chimpanzee? This isn't just a metaphor. It's a powerful model for understanding the human mind, developed by a brilliant psychiatrist named Drive. Steve Peters. He's a man who has worked in the shadows with some of the world's greatest athletes, helping them conquer their inner demons to win Olympic gold medals. Sir Chris Hoy, the legendary cyclist, said this mind program was what helped him win his Olympic golds. Victoria Pendleton, another cycling champion, said she wouldn't have realized her potential without Drive. Peters. These are people who operate at the highest levels of human performance, and their secret weapon wasn't just physical training, it was learning how to manage the chimp inside their heads. The book we're exploring today, The Chimp Paradox, has sold millions of copies around the world, precisely because it takes this complex science of the brain and makes it breathtakingly simple. It gives you a user's manual for your own mind. My promise to you today is this: by the end of our time together, you will understand who, or what, has been sabotaging your best intentions. You'll finally be introduced to the emotional machine living inside your skull. And most importantly, you will learn the simple, life-changing techniques to manage it, not through force or willpower, but through understanding. You will learn how to harness its incredible strength and finally put the real you in the driver's seat. So, let's begin our journey and meet the chimp. Book summary. To understand the Chimp Paradox, you first have to understand the layout of your own mind. Drive. Peters asks us to imagine that our brain isn't one single entity, but three separate brains working together. Or, more often, fighting with each other. First, there is the human. This is you. It's the rational, logical part of your brain located in your frontal lobe. Your human self is who you want to be. It thinks long-term, it operates on facts and truth, and it desires a happy, fulfilling life in a civilized society. When you make a New Year's resolution or a sensible life plan, that's your human at work. Second, there is the chimp. This is the emotional, impulsive part of your brain, housed in the limbic system. It's a survival machine that was given to you at birth. It thinks independently from you, and it is incredibly powerful. It doesn't work with logic, it works with feelings, impressions, and gut reactions. It's not good or bad, it's just a chimp. Its primary agenda is survival: to eat, to stay safe, to reproduce, and to belong to a troop. It thinks in black and white, it can be paranoid, and its emotional reactions are designed for the laws of the jungle, not a modern office or a family dinner. And here is the most important rule of your inner world: your chimp is, on average, 5 times stronger than your human. This explains everything. It explains why, in a moment of anger, you shout at someone you love. Your human knows it's a bad idea, but your chimp hijacks your mouth before your human can intervene. It's why you procrastinate on an important project. Your human knows the deadline is looming, but your chimp just doesn't feel like doing it, and its desire for immediate comfort overpowers your long-term goals. Drive. Peters tells the incredible true story of a man named Phineas Gage from the 1800s. Gage was a railway worker, known for being responsible and sober-minded. One day, a terrible accident caused a huge iron rod to shoot right through his eye socket and out the top of his skull, taking a piece of his frontal lobe, his human brain, with it. Miraculously, he survived. But his personality completely changed. He became aggressive, impulsive, and foul-mouthed. As Drive. Peters explains it, his human was gone. All that was left was the chimp. This story shows us that these two parts of our brain are distinct. You are the human. The chimp is an emotional machine that you live with. And this leads us to the single most liberating idea in the entire book. You are not responsible for the nature of your chimp, but you are responsible for managing it. Think of it like owning a dog. You didn't choose the dog's temperament. It might be naturally anxious or excitable. That's not your fault. But it is your responsibility to train it, to care for it, and to make sure it doesn't bite the neighbors. For too long, we've been blaming ourselves for our chimp's nature. Drive. Peters gives us the freedom to stop the blame game and start the management game. But how can you manage a creature that's 5 times stronger than you? You can't arm wrestle it. Willpower is useless when your chimp is agitated. The secret lies in understanding the third part of your brain, the computer. The computer is spread throughout your brain and acts like a hard drive. It's a storage area for beliefs and behaviors that your human or your chimp has programmed into it. The computer runs on autopilot. When you tie your shoelaces or drive a familiar route, you're not actively thinking, your computer is running a program. The computer is incredibly fast, about 4 times faster than the chimp, and 20 times faster than the human. This is key. If you program your computer correctly, it can take over before your chimp even has a chance to react. But here's the problem. The computer stores everything you put into it, both good and bad. Drive. Peters categorizes these stored programs into a few types. The helpful programs, like brushing your teeth or automatically being polite, are called autopilots. But the unhelpful and destructive beliefs are called gremlins and goblins. A goblin is a deeply ingrained, hardwired belief, usually installed in early childhood, before the age of 8. They are very difficult, almost impossible, to remove. A gremlin is a negative belief installed later in life. It's soft-wired and can be removed and replaced. Drive. Peters gives a brilliant example of a common goblin he calls the fridge door syndrome. Imagine a young child coming home from their first day of school, clutching a painting. They run to a parent, beaming with pride. The parent takes the painting and says, "This is fantastic. You are so clever. I'm so proud of you." And they put the painting on the refrigerator door for everyone to see. What message did that child just receive? They learned that their worth, their value, the thing that makes them clever and makes their parents proud, is their achievement. Their worth is tied to what they do. This creates a goblin that whispers for the rest of their life, "You must achieve to be worthy." What will people think? It creates a deep-seated fear of failure and judgment. Now, imagine the parent in the second scenario. The child runs up with a painting. But this time, the parent puts the painting aside for a moment, gives the child a huge hug, and says, "I am so proud of you. You are so clever." Then, they look at the painting and talk about how wonderful it is. The message here is completely different. You are worthy just for being you. Your achievements are wonderful, but they are separate from your inherent value as a person. Many of our deepest insecurities, our constant worrying about what others think, our need to impress people, are not character flaws. They are goblins and gremlins running on autopilot in our computer. A classic gremlin is the belief, I should always be on time. This sounds noble, but what happens when you hit unexpected traffic? You become stressed and angry. The gremlin is rigid. A more helpful autopilot would be, I could be on time, but sometimes things happen that are out of my control, and that's okay. The simple switch from should to could can remove a massive amount of self-inflicted pressure. So, we have these three minds: the rational human, the emotional chimp, and the lightning-fast computer. How do they interact? Here is the second unbreakable rule of your mind: all information from the outside world goes to the chimp first. The chimp is your first line of defense. It instantly scans every situation for danger. If it perceives a threat, it hijacks the blood supply to the brain and prepares to act. If there's no threat, it relaxes and passes the information along to the human. This is why you can react emotionally before you even have a chance to think logically. Let's use a classic example: road rage. Amy is driving to work, and another car suddenly cuts her off. The information goes to her chimp first. Her chimp interprets this as a personal attack, a challenge to its territory. It screeches, "That man just belittled me. He needs to be taught a lesson." Her human, meanwhile, is calmly thinking, "It's just a bad driver. It's not a big deal. Let it go." But who is stronger? The chimp. Before Amy's human can take control, her chimp is pressing the accelerator, tailgating the other car, and getting into a full-blown chimp-to-chimp battle. She arrives at work agitated and angry, and it takes hours to calm down. Later, she tells a friend what happened and says, "I don't know why I get so worked up. I hate myself for being so out of control." But with the chimp model, Amy can see what really happened. It wasn't her. It was her chimp. Her chimp hijacked her. She isn't a bad person. She just needs a better management plan for her inner primate. So, how do we manage the chimp? Drive. Peters offers 3 brilliant and practical techniques. He calls them exercise, box, and bananas. First, you must exercise the chimp. When your chimp is agitated, it's full of emotional energy. It needs to get it out. You can't reason with it while it's screeching. So, you need to let it vent. But, and this is critical, you must do it in a safe place. You wouldn't let a real chimp loose in a supermarket. You'd take it to a secure enclosure. Likewise, don't exercise your chimp on your boss or your partner. Find a trusted friend, or even just a private room, and let it all out. Say everything you're feeling, no matter how irrational it sounds. "He never supports me. He always does this. It's not fair." Let the chimp rant for 5 or 10 minutes. Once it has emptied its emotional tank, it will calm down and be ready to listen. Let's take Andy, who is terrified of going to the dentist. His chimp is going wild. "I can't cope. I'm going to make a fool of myself. Why do we even need teeth?" Instead of suppressing this, Andy needs to exercise it. He lets the chimp ramble on with all its fears until it's exhausted. Second, after the chimp has exercised, you box the chimp. Boxing the chimp means talking to it with facts, truth, and logic. You're not commanding it, you're reasoning with it. Once Andy's chimp is tired, his human can step in and say, "Okay, I hear you. It might be a little uncomfortable. But it will only last 30 minutes, and then the problem will be solved. It's not the end of the world. It's just a filling." He's not using fake positive thinking. He's using reality thinking. He's confronting the chimp's catastrophic emotions with simple truths. This process of presenting facts helps to box the chimp, calming it down and putting it to sleep. Sometimes you have to put the chimp back in its box over and over again for the same problem. That's okay. This is management, not a one-time fix. The third technique is to give the chimp bananas. Bananas are distractions or rewards that can appease the chimp in the short term. Let's say you struggle to get out of bed in the morning. The moment the alarm goes off, your chimp starts its dialogue. It's so warm. Just 5 more minutes. Reasoning with it won't work. Instead, you use a distraction banana. You create a simple, automatic routine. The alarm goes off, and on the count of 5, my feet hit the floor. No thinking. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And you're up. You've distracted the chimp before it could even start its negotiation. A reward banana is just as simple. I have to write 10 emails, but I don't feel like it. You say to your chimp, when we finish 5 emails, we can have a coffee. Suddenly, the chimp is on your side, helping you focus so it can get its reward. It might seem irrational, but remember, the chimp is irrational. You have to speak its language. These 3 techniques, exercise, box, and bananas, form the core of your chimp management toolkit. And the first step to using them is simply recognizing who is in control. Drive. Peters gives us a golden question to ask ourselves: do I want these thoughts or feelings? This model extends beautifully to our interactions with others. When you realize that every other person also has a chimp, it changes everything. When someone is angry, irrational, or defensive, you're not dealing with the human. You're dealing with their chimp. Knowing this allows you to stay in human mode, not take it personally, and not let your own chimp get triggered into a fight. The most effective communication is human to human. The most destructive is chimp to chimp. This is why building the right support network, what drive Peters calls your troop, is so vital. In the jungle, a lone chimp doesn't survive for long. It needs a troop for safety and security. Your inner chimp has this same powerful, primal drive to belong. This is the root of so much of our social anxiety, the need to be accepted, the fear of what others think, the desire to please everyone. It's our chimp desperately trying to stay safe within the troop. The problem is, our human often misleads our chimp into thinking that everyone is in our troop. We live in a society, so we should be nice to everyone, right? The chimp then tries to please the whole world, and gets hurt when it encounters other people's chimps who are not friendly. The solution is to consciously define your troop. Who are the handful of people you can truly trust? Your partner, your closest friends, your family. These are the people whose opinions matter. Everyone else is part of other troops. You can be personable and polite to them, but you don't need their approval for your survival. This insight alone can free you from a lifetime of social anxiety. Ultimately, the entire chimp management model is about creating a stable inner world so that you can achieve what you truly want in life: success and happiness. Drive. Peters makes a crucial distinction between a dream and a goal. A dream is something you want but don't have full control over, like winning a race or getting a specific job. A goal is something you do have full control over, like your training schedule or your interview preparation. When you focus on a dream, you trigger your chimp, because the outcome is uncertain. The chimp panics about the possibility of failure. But when you focus on your goals, the things you can control, you activate your human. You feel calm and empowered. The secret to achieving your dreams is to stop focusing on them. Instead, break the dream down into its component parts, the foundation stones, and set controllable goals for each one. Don't dream of winning the race. Set goals for your nutrition, your sleep, and your weekly mileage. Achieve the goals, and the dream will take care of itself. And this brings us to the very heart of the paradox. Your chimp, this impulsive, emotional creature, can be your worst enemy. It can sabotage your health, your relationships, and your career. But if you learn to nurture it, to understand its needs, and to manage it with wisdom and compassion, it can also become your greatest ally. It is the source of your passion, your creativity, your empathy, and your drive. It provides the emotional power that your human can then direct. The journey isn't about silencing the chimp. It's about learning to live with it. It's about recognizing that you have this powerful animal within you, and choosing, day by day, moment by moment, to be its master, not its servant. That is the Chimp Paradox. Commentary. As we close out our journey through the Chimp Paradox, I find myself reflecting on one profound and deeply comforting idea: you are not broken. For so much of our lives, we struggle with this internal war. We make promises to ourselves that we don't keep. We react in ways that we regret. And in the quiet moments that follow, we judge ourselves so harshly. We think, what's wrong with me? Why can't I just have more willpower? Drive. Peter's work offers a different, more compassionate answer. There is nothing wrong with you. You are simply a human living with a chimp. The feelings of anxiety, the impulsive urges, the irrational fears, they aren't personal failings. They are the natural, predictable outputs of an ancient survival machine that you happen to carry around in your head. The relief that comes from this realization is immense. It's the difference between seeing yourself as a failed human and seeing yourself as a successful manager of a very energetic chimp. It shifts the entire dynamic from self-blame to self-management. And that shift is the first step toward true personal freedom. The beauty of this book is its practicality. It doesn't just give you a theory, it gives you a toolkit. The concepts of exercising, boxing, and giving bananas are so simple, so memorable, that you can start using them the moment you put the book down. The idea of the fridge door syndrome is something that, once you hear it, you see everywhere, in yourself, in your friends, in the very fabric of our achievement-obsessed culture. It teaches us that self-mastery isn't about brute force. It's about wisdom. It's about understanding the different parts of yourself and learning to speak to each one in its own language. You speak to the human with logic, and you speak to the chimp with emotion, reassurance, and sometimes, a well-timed banana. So, how can you start applying this today, right now? Here are 3 simple actions. First, give your chimp a name. This might sound silly, but it's an incredibly powerful psychological trick. The moment you name it, whether it's cheeky Charlie or anxious Annie !, you create separation. When you feel a surge of anger, you can say, "Ah, Charlie's getting worked up again," instead of "I'm so angry." This creates the mental space you need to shift from reacting to managing. Second, for the next week, practice using the golden question. Whenever you feel a strong, unwanted emotion, pause and ask yourself, do I want this feeling? If the answer is no, simply acknowledge, this isn't me. This is my chimp. That's it. Just practice that recognition. This simple act of awareness is the foundation of everything else. Third, identify one recurring gremlin. What is one unhelpful belief that keeps showing up in your life? Maybe it's "I'm not good enough," or "I must not fail," or "I have to please everyone." Write it down. Then, write a new, truthful autopilot to replace it. For example, instead of "I must not fail," write "I can only do my best, and I can handle any outcome." Put that new autopilot somewhere you can see it every day. Your computer learns through repetition. This book is more than just a model. It's a new lens through which to view yourself and everyone around you with more patience, more understanding, and more compassion. It reminds us that we all have a chimp, and we're all just doing our best to manage it. That was a summary of the Chimp Paradox by Drive. Steve Peters. We've explored the main ideas today, but I have to be honest with you. A summary is like looking at a map of a beautiful country. It shows you the layout, the key cities, and the main roads, but it can never replace the experience of actually walking the ancient streets, smelling the local food, and feeling the sun on your face. The real magic of a book like this happens when you read it for yourself. It's in those quiet moments when a particular story or a simple phrase connects with your own life in a way you didn't expect. This summary is your map, designed to help you decide if this is a journey you want to take. If anything we've talked about today has struck a chord, I truly encourage you to grab a copy. Reading it isn't just about learning, it's an experience that can genuinely change the way you interact with the most important person in your life, yourself. The link to the book is in the description below. Also, if you found this summary valuable, please take a moment to click that subscribe button and give this a like. It tells us we're on the right track and ensures you won't miss our next exploration into another life-changing book. We're building a community of learners here, and I'm so glad you're a part of it. Let's keep growing together.